Psalm 37. Do not fret because of evildoers. Be not envious toward wrongdoers, for they will wither quickly like the grass and fade like the green herb. Trust in Yahweh and do good. Dwell in the land and cultivate faithfulness. Delight yourself in Yahweh, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to Yahweh. Trust also in him, and he will do it. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light and your judgment as the noonday. Rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who carries out wicked schemes. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evildoing, for evildoers will be cut off. But those who wait for Yahweh, they will inherit the land. Yet a little while, and the wicked man will be no more. And you will look carefully for his place, and he will not be there. But the humble will inherit the land, and will delight themselves in abundant prosperity. Verse 16. Better is the little of the righteous than the abundance of many wicked. Verse 23. The steps of a man are established by Yahweh, and he delights in his way. When he falls, he will not be hurled headlong, because Yahweh is the one who holds his hand. I have been young, and now I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or his descendants begging bread. Verse 35. I have seen a wicked, violent man spreading himself like a luxuriant tree in its native soil. Then he passed away, and behold, he was no more. I sought for him, but he could not be found. In these excerpts from Psalm 37, what we see is advice that only an old man can give. This is just grandpa's wisdom. And what he's saying is, look, it may look good for the righteous, it may look good for the wicked right now, but hang in there, because eventually there's going to be a turning of the tables. There's going to be this divine reversal, and God promises it, and you can trust him. And he essentially says, look, I'm old enough now that I've seen these cycles complete themselves a few times, and I'm telling you, God means business. Okay, so it's better to be righteous now, even if you lack material things, than to be wicked and have all of the material stuff. That's why he starts out in verse 1 with, do not fret because of evildoers, and do not be envious towards the wrongdoers. Verse 2, they will quickly be like grass and fade like the green herb. Okay? In every community of people, there are things that are rewarded within the community, whether that's just some kind of club or a team or a staff or a culture, a tribe, a whole country. Any group of people has their own version of virtue and the things that they reward. And in an evil group of people, then they reward evil behavior. One of the greatest movies ever made, which I do not recommend that you watch because it's pretty gruff in content, but back in college I was like, oh yeah, it's the greatest movie ever. I still think that, but I can't watch it anymore just because, got kids running around and stuff. The movie was Training Day. Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, right? They were rolling around in that movie in the squad car, in the cop car, and Denzel Washington says to his young trainee, Ethan Hawke, he says to him, in this business, you got to have a little dirt on you for anybody to trust you. And we've all worked at jobs like that, right? Like nobody trusts the honest guy because he won't cover for you when you get busted doing something that you're not supposed to be doing or whatever. And so you really do get extricated from the community, from the inner circle sometimes, just for acting in a righteous way. Grandpa's advice here is listen to somebody who's watched this play out a million times. It's better to have a little and be righteous than to have a lot and be wicked, because in the end, you will be glad. You know who's not going to be glad? The guy who had it all and got it by unrighteous means. Jesus says this, like, congratulations, you have received your reward in full. So whatever you get in life, Psalm 37 says, make sure you get it by righteous means, because what he's doing here is contrasting those that live by faith and those that live by greed, those that live by ambition, those that live by accumulation as their main motivation, those that live by the whatever the pathway is that's going to increase them and build their kingdom and their brand. He says, guys, it doesn't end well. It's not going to. And even if it does in this life, by the way, there are riches forevermore that those that live by faith get. Those that don't live by faith don't. So as we said in the last one, in Psalm 36, choose your God wisely, because if your God can fit in your hands or in your bank account or in your social circle, your sphere of influence, your God's too small and it will let you down. But with God, there are delights forever. The last thing I'll bring out to you here is verse 4, very famous verse. It says, delight yourself in Yahweh and He will give you the desires of your heart. Now, we will take that oftentimes just being kind of greedy by nature. We will take that as, oh, hey, if I give God the right kind of worship, then He'll give me whatever I want, right? You give the nod to God, He gives you your Christmas list. Not what this is saying at all. What He's saying here, trace through this carefully. If you delight yourself in the Lord, you delight yourself in Yahweh, then He comes to you and says, hey, what do you want? What's the deepest desire of your heart? What is your heart's delight? And in that case, your answer would be, it's you. And He says, well, you can have me. Here you go. And He holds nothing of Himself back from us, and that's why He describes the relationship between Jesus and the church like a husband and wife relationship, right? Total connection, total openness, total intimacy. There's a unity, even with distinction and diversity within it. This beautiful picture of relationship and love. It's also described as father-son relationship. It's described in terms of adoption. Come and eat at my table. You want to raid the fridge? That's your fridge too. Go ahead, kiddo. Right? So you delight yourself in the Lord. He will give you the desires of your heart. If the desires of your heart are set on things of the earth, you can go and get them. But the old man's wisdom here is, I've lived a long time, guys. You're never going to see God forsake the righteous. You are always going to see the gods of this world forsake the wicked that trust in them. So choose wisely.